Today, I'm going to compare the Sennheiser Momentum 5 to the Momentum 4, the HDB 630, and just to make it a bit more interesting, the Sony WH-1000XM6. Now, the Momentum 5 is not a radical change from the previous version, yes, but it is a meaningful one. For example, they've doubled the microphones on each ear cup, which should improve its noise cancelling, mic pickup, and transparency mode. That actually remains to be seen, more about that later. And in terms of specs and features, it's now high-res wireless certified since it supports aptX lossless, and it also supports Dolby Atmos spatial audio with head tracking if the content supports head tracking. The graphic equalizer's also been upgraded to one with 8 bands instead of the previous 5 bands. This means you can make more granular adjustments to its tuning. The case is also worth mentioning because it's easily the skinniest Sennheiser case I've ever seen. So those are some upgrades the Momentum 5 has over the Momentum 4. However, battery life is a smidge shorter compared to before at up to 57 hours with noise cancelling versus the previous 60. But the battery is now user replaceable. Yes, I have confirmed with Sennheiser that the battery will be available in Sennheiser stores both online and offline. So when the battery's lifespan is depleted someday, you can simply swap it for a fresh one, DIY, instead of upgrading to a new pair. Of course, there's also the HDB 630, which is a bit more audiophile oriented. So you're going to get some extras, like a parametric equalizer that allows for a pinpoint frequency and Q factor adjustments, a signal chain display in the app so you know exactly what stages the signal is passing through. You can also apply a crossfeed to blend both stereo channels together. It's useful in some cases, and I talked about that extensively when I reviewed the HDB 630 in this video. Do check it out. But of course, it doesn't have some things that the Momentum 5 does, like Dolby Atmos support or aptX lossless streaming. Instead, it does include the BTD 700 dongle, which is awesome for streaming in higher quality aptX adaptive audio, even if the source device does not support aptX adaptive. But then again, that dongle is actually something that you can purchase separately for the Momentum 5 if you do need it. As usual, we're going to see how the M5's performance stacks up to the others, as well as the Sony Mark VI. We'll be looking at mic pickup, active noise cancelling, and transparency. And at the end of the video, I'm going to compare them individually, so stick around for that. As always, links in the pinned comment. If you want to check their latest prices on Amazon, click here for Shopee, and subscribe for more reviews like this one. In terms of the Momentum 5's microphone quality, I gotta say that it's pretty mixed. The M5 is indeed an improvement over the M4 and the HDB 630, but not by much. On their default settings, the M5 didn't really deal that well with wind noise in noisy, windy conditions, and my voice wasn't filtered very well. It was actually the Sony's that did the best job here in my test, which happened in both quiet and noisy conditions using really loud cafe noise and wind noise from this fan. I'm now making a phone call in a quiet place using the Sennheiser Momentum 5. I'm now making a phone call in a quiet place using the Sennheiser HDB 630. I'm now making a phone call in a quiet place using the Sennheiser Momentum 4. I'm now making a phone call in a quiet place using the Sony WH-1000XM6. I'm now making a phone call in a noisy, windy place using the Sennheiser Momentum 5. The quick ground forms over that is done. I'm now making a phone call in a noisy, windy place using the Sennheiser HDB 630. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I'm now making a phone call in a noisy, windy place using the Sennheiser Momentum 4. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. now making a phone call in noisy and windy place using Sony WH-1000XM6. The quick brown box drops over the lazy door. As for the Momentum 5's active noise cancelling, this is surprising, but I have to say that although they are powerful noise cancellers and they do deliver a great level of silence, they're not an upgrade over the M4, and that is largely due to its cushions. The Momentum 5's cushions are a little thinner and less dense than the M4's cushions, and while that makes it a bit more comfortable to wear than the M4, it doesn't passively block noise as well, and that has an impact on its active noise cancelling performance, especially if the noise cancelling algorithm is applying that same amount of active cancelling as the M4's. Frequency sweeps do show that indeed it cancels less noise in the lower to mid-range region compared to the M4, and it is also less quiet than the HDB 630. But as you can hear from the samples, all the Sennheisers, the M4, the M5, the 630, they aren't as quiet as the Sony WH-1000XM6. Listen to the samples. Now, if you want to compare their active noise cancelling and call quality to other products, for just $1 per month or more, you can access my secret weapon, my personal database, which lets you compare their samples A to B directly. Hundreds of people have joined up because this saves you so much time, being able to just cut through all the marketing and compare the products yourself without visiting a store. Most stores don't even let you try the products due to hygiene reasons. So join now on YouTube or Patreon through the links below. In terms of the Momentum 5's transparency mode, it's got the best transparency of all the Sennheisers, no doubt. I like the fact that it amplifies the upper mid to treble frequencies more, so there's less occlusion in voices, and face-to-face conversations in transparency mode feels more natural. The ambient sounds that it's passing through does have a little bit of glassiness in it, which does feel a bit artificial. It is in this area that the Sony is better, because its transparency does not have that glassiness, as well as sounding more crisp and bright compared to the transparency of the Momentum 5, the Momentum 4, and also the HDB 630. For sound quality, let's listen to some sound samples, comparing these headphones, the M5, to the others, A to B. And then I'm going to compare them individually, so stick around for that. I'll get over you, only wish that I knew how to go on. Baby, you and me, we're so messed up together. Even if we tried, we'd be stuck here forever. I don't understand right now how to make it through, but I'll get over you, and it's not like I'm gonna hate you. It's what it is, nothing left that we could do. Even though it hurts right now, we will make it through. I'll get over you. I'll get over you. Back when I met you, we were like fireworks. Thought nothing could break us, but oh how we got burned. Look at us now, we scream, we fight, and no one knows the reason. We're both getting out of line. Now say goodbye and try to move on. To compare their sound quality to other headphones and earbuds, go to loudandwireless.com/sound samples. Comparing the default sound quality of the Momentum 5 to the Momentum 4, the M5 has a fuller mid-range signature. Because the M4's mids sound a bit too pulled back, so the M4's vocals don't have that heaviness and body that the M5 has. The M5 is also a bit more bass heavy, so there's a bit more gravity and thumpiness than the M4, which has bass that's a bit more muted. I will say that overall, the Momentum 5 is a pretty meaningful upgrade over the Momentum 4, not so much in terms of features, as they are pretty similar in that aspect, except for the better graphic EQ, Dolby Atmos, and aptX lossless support that the M5 has. But I also do prefer the M5's tuning, and it does perform better in terms of its transparency and microphone pickup. The user replaceable battery is also a big plus. Great for if you want to keep the M5 for a longer term, and also for the potential resale value. So if you have the M4, the M5s, in my opinion, are worth the upgrade. But if active noise cancelling is your priority, just be aware that the M4 is still a bit stronger in this area than the M5. Comparing the default sound quality of the Momentum 5 to the HDB 630, I do think the M5s sound fantastic, clean and punchy, track separations also comparable to the 630. But in my opinion, the 630's sound quality takes the cake. To me, it's better for critical listening because the dynamic range is higher, so it does emphasize the upper mids and high frequency details more. I'm talking about instruments like shakers and hi-hats, as well as background details in the soundstage being brighter, louder, and crisper than on the M5. Also, if you want to tune it, the 630 has more granular settings like that parametric equalizer, and finally, the HDB 630's noise cancelling is a little more powerful than the M5's. Now, where the Momentum 5 is better is in terms of comfort. Although its cushions aren't as plush as the 630's, the ear cups feel a bit more roomy, so there's more breathing room, which is a little better for longer listening sessions. Extra points for the M5 for its better transparency mode and having user replaceable batteries, so if you want to extend its lifespan even further, you can simply buy the battery from Sennheiser and swap the battery yourself. You don't even have to send it to the service center. For many people, this possibility that you can extend the lifespan of the headphones that way, that is a compelling reason to get the M5 instead of the 630. Comparing the Momentum 5 to the Sony WH-1000XM6, out of the box, these Sennheisers sound better. It hits all the right spots for me in terms of separation, bass response, and detail. Now, you may think that this is because of the larger 42mm drivers compared to the Sony's 30mm, but it's actually more to do with how the Sonys were tuned by default. It's too emphasized in the mids, and there's very little crispness or air in the soundstage. Now, it could actually be this roll-off above 15 kHz, but after tuning it with my Singapore Spring custom EQ over here, in my opinion, the Sonys can now compete with the Sennheisers. Sound quality aside, I will choose the Sonys for its better mic pickup for phone calls, better noise cancelling, and better transparency. And it's also a little more comfortable to wear than the M5 because the Sonys, well, it seems to wrap around my head better compared to the M5. Now, that being said, the Momentum 5 is better as an audiophile-oriented headphone because although the Sonys support LDAC codec, which is a far more common high-res codec than aptX lossless, the Sennheiser supports direct wired USB Type-C audio, which the Sonys do not. It also has almost twice the battery life of the Sony, and the battery is user replaceable. One more thing I like about the Sennheiser is when I drape the Sennheisers around my neck, the Sennheiser don't choke me as much as the Sonys. The Sony's spring mechanism over here is simply applying a bit too much pressure to my collarbone. So that's how the Sennheiser Momentum 5 compares to the others. Links in the pinned comment. If you want to check the latest price on Amazon, click here for Shopee. I will also be comparing the Momentum 5 to other headphones. So if you don't want to miss those videos, get subscribed and tap the bell button to stay notified. Now, watch these videos to get my full take on the Sennheiser HDB 630 and the Sony WH-1000XM6. Check them out.